March 28th, 2020, 3:47 a.m. The Burj Al Arab, Dubai. A woman's hand, henna still fresh, 3-carat diamond ring catching the light, reaches across white marble toward a door she'll never reach. Blood pools around her wrist, rose petals scattered everywhere, white and red. 6 hours ago, this was a wedding suite, $500,000 celebration, 200 guests. Her family's first time leaving the Philippines. Now, it's a crime scene. The groom sits on the sofa, white kandura soaked red, smoking a cigarette, calm. Hotel security asks what happened. He says 5 words. My wife lied to me. Welcome to True Crime Story Files. Real people, real crimes, real consequences, because every story matters. Subscribe now, turn on the bell, and step inside the world where truth meets tragedy. The marriage lasted 6 hours and 47 minutes. Her name was Camila Reyes. She was 24 years old. She worked night shifts at a Manila call center, sending money home for her father's medical bills. She lied about her past because she knew the truth would cost her everything. She was right. But what kind of lie turns a wedding night into a death sentence? September 2019. Manila, Philippines. 3:17 in the morning. Inside a call center on the 7th floor of a concrete building in Ortigas, 200 women sit in identical cubicles under fluorescent lights that hum at a frequency that makes your teeth ache. The air conditioning is set to 62 degrees. Management keeps it cold to keep people alert. What it actually does is make your fingers numb. Camila Reyes has been on this shift for 8 hours. Her headset has worn a permanent groove into her temple. In front of her is a laminated script, coffee-stained and peeling at the edges. I understand your frustration, ma'am. Let me see what I can do for you. The woman on the other end is screaming. Her debit card was declined for $4.17. She wants Camila, sitting 9,000 miles away, earning $2.35 an hour, to fix it. The call ends. Camila has 30 seconds before the next one. She pulls up her calculator app, does the same math she does every night. Her salary, 28,000 pesos a month, about 550 American dollars. Her father's stroke 6 months ago cost 340,000 pesos. Physical therapy is 15,000 a month, but her mother is talking about stopping it. Her mother's insulin used to cost 800 pesos. Now, it's 2,400. Elena is rationing it. Rent is 8,000 pesos. Utilities, food, transportation, another 10,000. Her older sister sends remittances from Dubai, $400 a month. But the agency takes 15%. Camila types the numbers into her calculator, deletes, tries again. The answer is always the same, not enough. It's 3:45 a.m., her break. She heats up instant noodles, 3rd night in a row. She opens Instagram. Jasmine Flores is at the top of her feed. Used to work at a Manila spa. 3 months ago, her Instagram changed. Now she's in Dubai. Designer abaya, gold shopping bags, Mercedes G-Wagon, a restaurant dessert dusted with actual gold. 400 dirhams, 109 American dollars for dessert. Caption: when you meet the right person, everything changes. Alhamdulillah. Camila looks at her reflection in her phone screen. Behind her, another woman crying in the break room. She opens a new tab. Filipina married to Emirati. How to meet Dubai businessman. Marriage visa UAE requirements. She's heard the stories. Passports confiscated. Women trapped. Bodies sent home in boxes. But she's also heard the other stories. Women who saved entire families. Who paid off decades of debt with a single wire transfer. 3 weeks ago, she went home to visit her parents. Their apartment in Quezon City is small. Her father was in his wheelchair by the window, unable to speak clearly. Her mother was cooking on a 2-burner stove older than Camila. Camila handed her mother an envelope, her entire paycheck. She kept 5,000 pesos for herself. Elena counted it. Her hands shake now, even when she's had her insulin. She counted the bills twice. Anak, this isn't enough for your papa's therapy next week. I know, Mama. Ate's remittance should come Wednesday. Should. Elena put the money down. What if it doesn't? Silence. Maybe we should stop the therapy, Elena said quietly. Your papa isn't getting better anyway. Mama, don't. What's the point, Camila? We're drowning. Your 8 is killing herself in Dubai. Your kuya abandoned us for Canada, and you. She gestured at Camila's uniform. You have a degree. You were supposed to be different. The words didn't sound angry. They sounded tired, disappointed. Before Camila left, her mother pressed a small medal into her hand. Santo Niño. Elena had worn it for 40 years. Pray, Anak. God will provide. Back at the call center, 4:15 a.m. Her phone buzzes, Instagram notification, message request. She almost deletes it. But something makes her open it. The profile is sparse. No face photos, just luxury cars, desert landscapes. The bio says, Emirati, family business, seeking someone genuine. The message is formal, almost old-fashioned. Peace be upon you. I hope this message finds you well and blessed. Your profile was recommended to me by a mutual connection who spoke highly of your character. I am looking to meet a good-hearted woman who values family and faith above all things. I am 42, divorced, and I run my family's import-export business. I have been blessed financially, but I am looking for something more meaningful than material success. If you are interested in a respectful conversation, I would be honored to speak with you. Please forgive my directness. I believe in being honest about intentions. I am seeking marriage, not games. May God guide both of us toward what is best. Around her, the call center is exactly what it always is. 200 women apologizing to Americans about problems that don't matter. The smell of instant noodles and industrial air freshener. The fluorescent lights that never turn off. She opens her calculator app. The numbers that never add up. She opens Instagram. Jasmine's photos. The gold. The Mercedes. The escape. Her supervisor's voice comes over the intercom. Break is over. Return to your stations. Camila has 15 seconds left. She types, Peace be upon you too. I'd be interested in talking. When would be a good time? She presses send. Across the world, in an office overlooking the Burj Khalifa, a man named Nabil al-Mansouri sees the notification, opens the message, looks at her profile. He smiles, takes a screenshot, saves it to a folder on his desktop labeled Prospects. October 2019, Manila to Dubai. 9,000 miles apart, but connected by screens that glow in dark bedrooms. For 3 months, Nabil al-Mansouri was everything Camila didn't know she needed. He asked about her family first, not her appearance, about the people she loved. She told him everything. Her father's stroke, her mother's diabetes, the medical bills, the math that never worked. She expected him to disappear. He didn't. A woman who honors her family honors herself, he wrote back. This is beautiful. 3 weeks in, they moved to video calls. Camila in her small bedroom in Quezon City, angling her phone so he couldn't see how cramped everything was. On his end, floor-to-ceiling windows. The Burj Khalifa visible in the background. Space. So much space. He asked about her father's therapy. 2 days later, $500 appeared in her account. A message. For your father's therapy. A man who cannot help is not much of a man. 6 weeks in, she mentioned her mother's insulin costs. The next day, $400. No message this time. He was showing her what life could be like. By December, the video calls lasted hours. He talked about faith, family, about wanting to build something real with someone who understood that marriage was partnership, not just romance. He mentioned his previous marriages briefly. 2 of them. Both ended badly. They lied to me about who they were, he said, and his voice carried real pain. I cannot go through that again. For 3 months, he never asked for anything inappropriate. He talked about marriage like it was sacred. But there were moments. Small things that didn't feel right, but also didn't feel wrong enough to walk away from. November. She posted a beach photo on Instagram. Sundress, sunset, normal. 10 minutes later, her phone rang. Camilla, the photo you just posted? What about it? You look beautiful, but my family is traditional. They will see your social media eventually. I want them to see you the way I see you. Graceful, modest, respectful. It's just a beach photo. I know. And in your culture, it's normal. But in mine, it would concern my mother. She deleted it, told herself it was just a photo, not a big deal. Relationships required compromise. 2 weeks later, she was on a video call with him. Behind her, through the window, her co-worker, Benedict, walked past, waved, called out, "Good night, Camila." She waved back without thinking. Nabil's entire face changed. Who is that? Just Benedict. He works in the next department. In my culture, we are protective of our women. It's not about control. It's about respect. Other men should not be so familiar with you. He said good night. I know. He ran a hand through his hair. I've been hurt before, Camila. By women who told me one thing and did another. I need to trust you. Can I trust you? Of course. Then help me trust you. Keep boundaries with other men. Part of Camilla thought this was unreasonable, but another part thought about his failed marriages, the pain in his voice. The next day, she asked Benedict not to greet her if Nabil might be on a call. Then December came, and everything changed. Nabil called from a hospital waiting room. His eyes were red. My mother. She's in the hospital. Early-stage Alzheimer's. Yesterday she forgot who I was, called me by my father's name. His voice broke. My father has been dead for 5 years. I'm terrified of losing people I love, he said, crying now. My father. Now my mother's mind. My 2 marriages fell apart because I couldn't trust. Couldn't let people in. And I'm doing it again with you, aren't I? Being controlling. You're just scared. That's not an excuse. I'm going to work on it. I promise. I just need you to be patient with me. Of course. We'll work on it together. After the call ended, Camilla sat in her dark bedroom. This wasn't a monster. This was a man in pain. Maybe his controlling behavior wasn't about power. Maybe it was about trauma. Maybe she could help him heal. She didn't see the pattern yet. The way he moved between gentleness and control. Vulnerability and suspicion. Over and over, until you couldn't tell which version was real. December 15th. A message arrived. I want to meet you properly. Come to Dubai. 2 weeks. I'll arrange everything. Flights, hotel, all separate and respectful. No pressure. Just a chance to see if what we have is real. And if you feel it is, I want to introduce you to my family, with the intention of marriage. Camilla told her mother that night. Elena was washing dishes when Camilla said she needed to talk. "I've been talking to someone. In Dubai. He wants me to visit. He's talking about marriage." Elena's face did something complicated. Hope and terror at the same time. The money for Papa's therapy last month? That was him. Elena went very still. "How long have you been talking?" 3 months. "And you trust him?" Elena dried her hands slowly, walked to Camilla, took her daughter's face in both hands. "If anything, and I mean anything, feels wrong, you come home. You hear me? Mama, I'm just going to visit. I've heard the stories. Women who go there and can't come back, passports taken, abuse, bodies in boxes." She pulled Camilla close. "I'm not telling you not to go. I'm telling you to be careful." She pulled out the Santo Niño medal she'd worn for 40 years, pressed it into Camilla's hand. "This kept me safe when I was young and stupid. Maybe it'll do the same for you." 3 weeks later, Camilla stood in Ninoy Aquino International Airport with a carry-on suitcase and a round-trip ticket. Her mother held her hand at the gate, rosary beads clicking between her fingers. "Call me every day." "I will, Mama." "If you marry him, keep your passport. Hide it somewhere he can't find it." Elena pulled her close one last time, whispered in her ear, "I'm sending my daughter to a stranger in a foreign country because we're desperate. If something happens to you, I'll never forgive myself." "Nothing's going to happen. You don't know that. Neither do I." Final boarding call. Camilla picked up her bag, walked toward the gate, didn't look back. 12 weeks later, that same medal would be found on a hotel suite floor, clutched in her hand, covered in blood. January 2020, Dubai International Airport. Camilla stepped through customs after 15 hours in the air. Her cheap carry-on suitcase had a broken wheel that made it pulled to the left. But then she saw him. Nabil was waiting at baggage claim, holding a sign with her name. He was 42, but looked younger. White Kandura pressed perfectly. When he saw her, his entire face changed. Genuine warmth. "Camilla, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome." He didn't try to hug her, just took her suitcase and gestured toward the exit. They drove through Dubai at night, and Camilla pressed her face against the window. Buildings rose into the sky like glass mountains. Cars that cost more than her family would earn in their entire lives. Digital billboards 50 feet tall. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Wait until you see it in daylight. I hope you'll love it here. I hope you'll consider it home." In her pocket, the Santo Niño medal pressed against her hip. A reminder of where she came from and what she was doing here. 3 days later, Nabil introduced her to 3 women at a cafe overlooking Dubai Marina. Paulina, Teresa, and Rowena, all Filipina, all married to Emirati men. Rowena was the eldest and the most direct. "So, Nabil, he seems nice." The other 2 women exchanged glances. "He is nice," Paulina added quickly. "Respectful, educated." But there was something hanging in the air. Teresa leaned forward. "How much do you know about being married to an Emirati?" "I've been reading about it online." "No." Rowena cut her off. "I mean really no. Not the Instagram version." She started counting on her fingers. 1. You cannot work without his written permission. 2. You cannot open a bank account without his permission. 3. You cannot leave the country without his permission. If he cancels your visa, you have 30 days to get out. 4. If you have children, They're Emirati citizens. If you divorce, they stay here. With him. Always. 5. If he takes your passport, and some of them do, there's nothing you can really do about it. Camilla's coffee had gone cold in her hands. But, Teresa said gently, it's not all bad. We're financially secure. Our families back home are taken care of. Some of these marriages work. But you need to know which kind you're getting before you say yes, Rowena said firmly. Because after the wedding, the law protects him. Not you. How do I know? Camilla asked quietly. Watch how he reacts when you say no to something small. Watch how he talks about his previous wives. Watch whether he tries to isolate you from us. And keep your passport hidden, Teresa added. That's your escape route if you ever need it. A week later, Camilla sat in the Al-Mansouri family compound. High walls, a villa so large it could have housed 20 families from Quezon City. Inside, Nabil's mother, Sheikh Mariam, his 3 sisters, and several aunts watched her with eyes that had seen decades of arranged meetings just like this one. Camilla wore a long-sleeved dress. Nabil had suggested she cover her hair with a light scarf. She'd agreed without argument. Strong Arabic coffee was served. Dates, rose water. The smell was overwhelming. Sheikh Mariam examined Camilla the way a jeweler examines a stone. She spoke in rapid Arabic. Nabil translated. She says you're very beautiful. Thank you. More Arabic. Then Nabil hesitated. She wants to know about your family, your values. She's asking if you're a good Catholic girl. Yes, ma'am. Family is everything to me. The mother nodded. Then she asked something longer. The sisters leaned forward. Everyone was watching. Nabil's face tightened. She needs to ask something personal. Please forgive the directness. It's okay, Camilla said, though her heart was already racing. He looked genuinely uncomfortable. She wants to know if you've been with anyone before. Intimately. If you're pure. The room went completely silent. Camilla's mind moved faster than it ever had. Miguel. 3 years together. They'd been intimate. That was normal in Manila. Normal for university students. Nobody asked these questions back home. But here, with these women watching her like merchandise being inspected, normal didn't matter. If she told the truth right now, this ended. The money for her father's therapy, her mother's insulin, the wedding that could save her entire family. All of it would disappear. But if she lied and it came out later, that would be worse. Wouldn't it? Miguel was in Qatar now, married. Those photos on Facebook were private, locked. Nobody could see them. She looked at Nabil. His face was unreadable. She looked at his mother. This woman had already half decided to accept her. This question was the final test. She thought about her father in his wheelchair, her mother's shaking hands, the call center, the fluorescent lights, Jasmine's Instagram, the escape. She opened her mouth. No, ma'am. I was raised to wait for marriage. The lie came out smooth, easy. Nabil's shoulders relaxed. Relief flooded his face. His mother's expression softened immediately. She reached out and touched Camilla's cheek. The sisters nodded approvingly. Sheikh Mariam spoke rapidly in Arabic. Nabil translated, his voice warm now. She says you're exactly what our family needs. Pure-hearted and respectful. She gives us her blessing. In her lap, hidden from view, Camilla's hands were trembling. She pressed the Santo Niño medal in her pocket like it could absolve her. That night, Nabil took her to a restaurant overlooking the Burj Al Arab. Candlelight, white tablecloths, a level of luxury Camila had never experienced. Nabil was nervous. His hand shook slightly when he reached across the table. Camila, I know this is fast, but I'm 42 years old. I've been married before. Both times ended badly because those women weren't honest with me about who they were. He took her hand. I can't go through that again. I need a partner I can trust completely. He pulled a small box from his pocket, opened it. A ring, 3 carats, flawless. Before I ask you what I want to ask you, I need to know one more time. Is there anything you need to tell me? Anything about your past that might come out later? This was it. The second chance. The universe offering her a way out of the lie. She could tell him right now. Miguel. The relationship. The intimacy. She opened her mouth. But then she thought about everything that would disappear the moment she told the truth. Not just the ring. Not just the wedding. But her father's therapy, her mother's medicine, her siblings' hope. And maybe, she thought, maybe it didn't matter. Maybe Miguel really had deleted those photos years ago. No, she said quietly. There's nothing. Nabil's relief was immediate. He slid the ring onto her finger, pulled her close. Thank you for being honest with me. That's all I've ever wanted. The ring felt heavy, beautiful, like a shackle disguised as a promise. 2 weeks later, Camila was back in Manila. Wedding planning moved fast. Nabil handled everything from Dubai. Venue, Burj Al Arab, her dress, custom designed, 80,000 dirhams, visas arranged for her family. Everything organized with the efficiency of someone who had money and knew how to use it. The date was set, March 27th, 2020. Then one night, during her break at the call center, scrolling through Facebook, the algorithm made a suggestion. People you may know, Miguel Santos. Her heart stopped. She clicked on his profile. He was married now, living in Qatar, looked happy. She scrolled down. And there it was. An album titled University Days 2016 to 2017. Privacy setting, friends only. But the thumbnail showed a preview image. Her and Miguel at a beach resort, embracing. Her face drained of color. Her hands started shaking. She thought about messaging him, begging him to delete it. But if she contacted him, she'd be confirming there was something to hide. She created a fake Facebook profile. Friend requested Miguel to see if he accepted random requests. If he did, the photos were vulnerable. He didn't accept. His privacy settings were tight. She breathed easier. The album was locked. Nabil would never see it. She closed Facebook. Convinced herself everything would be fine. What she didn't know was that somewhere in Dubai, someone was already looking. Someone with access to data broker services that specialized in recovering deleted or private social media content. Someone with gold rings and an expensive watch and a laptop running VPN software. Someone who was downloading those photos right now. Waiting for exactly the right moment to use them. The wedding was 8 weeks away. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever told a lie to protect yourself? Hidden something because you knew the truth would ruin everything you were building? Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was just being human when someone demanded perfection. If you have, and I know you have because we all have, then you understand exactly why Camila lied. You understand that what happens next isn't justice. It's punishment for being human. If this story is making you feel something, anger, fear, recognition, helplessness, then you need to stay. You need to see how this ends and you need to make sure it's remembered. Subscribe. Not for me, but because stories like Camilla's disappear unless people like you say they matter. March 2020. The final 2 weeks before the wedding moved like a countdown Camilla couldn't stop. Her last week at the call center was strange. The same fluorescent lights, the same headset. But now it felt temporary, like watching a life that used to be hers from the outside. Her coworkers threw her a goodbye party. Instant noodles, a grocery store cake. But the happiness was genuine. These women understood what this wedding meant. Escape, the math finally working out. They hugged her, and some of them cried because they knew they'd probably never leave this building. Her father could barely speak anymore, but he touched her face the night before she left. His hands shaking, tears running down his cheeks. Her mother tried to be strong until they got into the taxi for the airport. Then Elena grabbed Camilla's hand. Remember what I told you? Your passport. Keep it hidden, always. Mama, I will. I mean it, Anak. That's the only power you'll have there. March 25th, 2020. The Reyes family boarded a plane to Dubai. Elena and Roberto's first time flying. Elena gripped the armrest during takeoff, prayed in Tagalog under her breath. Hail Mary full of grace, over and over. When they landed, an attendant Nabil had hired pushed Roberto through the airport. Everything was arranged. They were put up in a 4-star hotel near Dubai Marina. Elena walked into the room and just stood there. The bed was bigger than their bedroom back home. She whispered to Camilla when they were alone. Anak, this is too much. Men like him, they don't do things like this without expecting something in return. Mama, please, just try to enjoy it. But Elena's face said everything. I've lived long enough to know nothing is free. March 26th. The night before the wedding, the Al-Mansouri family compound. It was supposed to be a small gathering, but small in this world meant 50 people. Camilla's family sat together at one table looking completely out of place. That's when Khalid showed up. Nabil's cousin, 38, wealthy. He arrived late and he'd been drinking. You could smell the whiskey on him. In a gathering where alcohol was technically forbidden, he didn't care. He was family. He was connected. He was untouchable. He shook Camilla's hand too long, his grip firm, possessive. So, the bride. Nabil is very lucky. I hope you are everything he thinks you are. He leaned closer, his breath sharp with alcohol. My cousin has been burned before, twice. Women who pretended to be one thing turned out to be another. It broke him. I hope you're not like them. Before Camilla could respond, Nabil appeared. Grabbed Khalid's arm, pulled him away, hissed conversation in Arabic. Khalid raised both hands in mock surrender, laughing. He walked away, but not before looking back at Camilla one more time. For the rest of the evening, Camilla noticed something. Khalid stayed on his phone, watching her. She'd catch him taking photos. That night, back at the hotel, Camilla couldn't sleep. Tomorrow she would marry Nabil. Tomorrow there would be no going back. She picked up her phone at 11 and opened Facebook one last time. Miguel's profile, the album was still private. She checked Instagram. His account was private too. Everything locked down. She breathed easier. But then she remembered what Rowena had said. Keep your passport hidden. Know which kind of man you're getting. She opened Google and typed, "How to permanently delete Facebook content." What she learned made her stomach turn. Even when you delete something, Facebook keeps it. 90 days minimum, sometimes longer. She searched, "Can private Facebook photos be accessed?" The results were worse. Data breaches, hacked accounts, broker services that specialized in buying and selling private social media content. She sat there at midnight, understanding for the first time that nothing online ever really disappeared. She made a decision. She created an anonymous email account using Proton Mail. She wrote to Miguel, "Miguel, this is Camila. I'm getting married tomorrow. I need to know. Did you fully delete all photos of us from Facebook? Or did you just make them private? Please be honest." She hit send. He wouldn't see it until morning. By then she'd already be at her wedding. March 27th, 7 in the morning, the day of the wedding. Hair and makeup artists arrived. They worked for 2 hours, transforming her into the version of herself Nabil wanted his family to see. Elena helped her into the dress, zipped it up, stepped away to look at her daughter. There were tears in her eyes, but they weren't happy tears. "Mama, don't cry. This is supposed to be a happy day." Elena walked to her, took Camilla's face in both hands. "Anak, listen to me very carefully. If anything, and I mean anything, feels wrong tonight, you call me. I don't care what time it is." "Mama, you're scaring me." "Good. You should be a little scared. You're marrying a man you barely know in a country where you have no rights." "But you're the one who pushed me toward this." "I know." Elena's voice cracked. "And if something happens to you, I will never forgive myself. Never." She made sure the Santo Niño medal was properly clasped around Camilla's neck. Elena held her daughter's face one more time and whispered in Tagalog, "If he hurts you, God will answer to me." Camilla's phone buzzed. Email notification from Miguel Santos. Subject, your question. "Camila, yes, I fully deleted the photos years ago after I got married. I thought you knew that. Why are you worried? Is everything okay?" Relief flooded through her. He deleted them. They were gone. She was safe. Then another notification appeared. This one from Facebook. "Someone tried to access your account from an unrecognized device in Dubai, UAE." The timestamp showed March 26th, 2020, 11:52 at night, last night, while she was sleeping. Someone in Dubai had tried to get into her Facebook account. Someone here. Someone at that rehearsal dinner. Her hands started shaking. A knock on the door, one of Nabil's sisters calling through. "Camila? The car is here. It's time." What Camila didn't know was that while she slept, someone had already found what they were looking for. Someone with money and connections and access to services that specialize in recovering private data. Someone who downloaded those photos from Miguel's locked Facebook album, saved them, prepared them, timed everything perfectly. That anonymous login attempt at 11:52 wasn't someone trying to get into her account. It was someone leaving a trail after they'd already gotten what they needed. The trap had been set, and in 6 hours, it would snap shut. March 27th, 2020, 6 o'clock in the evening. The Burj Al Arab, the iconic sail-shaped hotel, rose from the Persian Gulf. Golden hour light turned the building into a beacon. Luxury cars lined the entrance. Rolls-Royces, Bentleys. Guests arrived in designer abayas and pristine white kanduras. Inside the ballroom, 200 people waited. Gold chandeliers hung from ceilings so high they seemed to disappear. White flowers everywhere. Everything was perfect. Everything was expensive. The doors opened. Traditional drums began their deep rhythmic pulse. And Camila appeared. She was escorted by her father, Roberto in his wheelchair, barely able to speak. But Nabil had insisted on this. Two bridesmaids held the train of her dress because it was so heavy. Hand-embroidered gold thread, 80,000 dirhams on her back. Every head turned. Cameras clicked. Her mother Elena was crying in the front row. The ballroom smelled overwhelming. Heavy perfume layered over fresh flowers. Camilla's dress weighed her down with every step. Nabil stood at the altar in a perfectly pressed kandura. He was watching her with what looked like genuine love. His mother sat in the front row, nodding approval. And in the back, barely visible through the crowd, Khalid stood with his phone in his hand, not smiling, just watching. Camilla reached the altar. Nabil took her hand, leaned close and whispered, "You look perfect." But his hand was sweating against hers. The imam began speaking in Arabic, rapid, formal religious language that Camilla had no hope of following. She'd signed a marriage contract earlier. It had been in Arabic with an English summary. She'd trusted the translator Nabil had provided. Now, standing in front of 200 witnesses, she understood something she should have understood weeks ago. She was agreeing to terms she couldn't fully comprehend in a language she didn't speak under a legal system she didn't understand. The imam spoke for what felt like 10 minutes. Finally, he looked directly at her, asked something in Arabic. The entire ballroom went silent. Nabil whispered, "Now, say I do." "I do," Camilla said. The room erupted in applause, drums pounded, women ululated, music started playing. But Camilla heard it all like she was underwater, distorted, distant, wrong. The reception began. Traditional dancers performed. A 7-tier cake was wheeled out. She was pulled from group to group. Endless introductions, women speaking rapid Arabic. Near the dessert table, Camilla overheard 2 Emirati women speaking in English. "She's beautiful, I'll give her that." "Yes, but you know how these Filipina wives are. They smile and act modest. Then the truth comes out later. I heard his first wife was hiding a child from a previous relationship. The shame. And the second one was caught texting an ex-boyfriend. Nabil was devastated. Laughter. Light. Casual. Poor man. Hopefully this one is actually what she claims to be. Camilla's smile never faltered. But inside, terror was spreading. Around 10:30, Camilla excused herself to use the bathroom. The hallway outside was quieter, cooler. But then Khalid stepped out from around a corner, blocking her path. He was drunker now, the beautiful bride. "May I speak with you just a moment? I need to get back just a moment." He stepped closer, too close. "My cousin is a good man, but he's been hurt." "I know. He told me about his previous marriages." "Did he tell you what happened to the second wife?" Camilla went still. "He said they divorced. He found out she'd been intimate with someone before him. She'd lied about it, swore she was pure." Khalid leaned in. He was so devastated he couldn't work for months. Nearly destroyed our family business. Silence in that hallway. "I did a background check on you," Khalid said. "For him, to protect him." Camilla's heart stopped. "What?" "Relax. I found nothing concerning. Clean social media, no scandals, good family." His eyes narrowed. "But social media only shows what people want to show, doesn't it?" Before she could respond, Nabil appeared at the end of the hallway, his face tight, angry. Rapid Arabic between the two men. Khalid raised both hands in mock surrender, laughed, walked away. Nabil turned to Camilla, forced a smile. "I'm sorry. He's drunk. He doesn't know what he's saying." But Camilla had heard every word, and Khalid had sounded completely sober. Near midnight, the last guests began filtering out. Elena found Camilla in a quiet corner, held both her hands. "Call me tomorrow. First thing, promise me. I promise, Mama. I mean it, anak. If I don't hear from you by noon, I'm calling the Philippine embassy. Elena pulled her close, whispered fiercely in Tagalog. I sent you here because we had no choice. But if he hurts you, if anyone hurts you, I will burn this whole country down to get you back. You hear me? Camilla was crying now. I hear you. Elena wiped her daughter's face gently. Go, be brave. Remember, you are a Reyes. We survive everything. That was the last time Camilla saw her mother conscious. 11:47 at night. The ballroom was nearly empty. Nabil took Camilla's hand. Ready? She nodded because what else could she do? They walked to the elevator, down a hallway lined with gold-framed mirrors that reflected them back infinite times. Inside the elevator, the doors closed and they were alone. The mechanical hum of ascent was the only sound. Nabil held her hand, but didn't look at her. Are you okay? She asked quietly. I'm perfect. His voice was tight. This is the happiest day of my life. But he didn't sound happy. The numbers climbed. 15, 20, 25, 27, top floor. The elevator dinged, doors opened. The presidential suite was at the end. Gold door. Nabil slid the keycard through the reader. Beep, green light, click. The door opened. The suite was designed to overwhelm. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Persian Gulf. Dubai's skyline glittering below. White marble floors, rose petals scattered across silk sheets. Everything perfect. Everything waiting. On the wall, mounted like art, hung a ceremonial khanjar, a curved dagger with a jeweled handle. Decorative. Never meant to be used. Nabil walked to the window, stood with his back to her. Silence settled between them, heavy. I need to use the bathroom, Camilla said. He nodded without turning around. She closed the bathroom door behind her, leaned against it. The bathroom was marble and gold. Mirrors everywhere. She looked at herself. Full bridal makeup, a stranger wearing her face. She pulled out her phone. 2 notifications waiting, one from her mother. I love you, Anak. Call me tomorrow. Promise. The second notification made her blood turn cold. An email sent to Nabil's email address. Somehow, it had come through on her phone because they'd synced their calendars. The subject line, you should know who you married. The sender, truth about your wife at protonmail.com. The timestamp, 11:47 p.m. Sent during the reception. She clicked on it with shaking hands. The email body contained one thing, a link to a Facebook album. Miguel Santos, University Days 2016 to 2017. Someone had found the photos. Someone had accessed Miguel's private, locked Facebook album. Someone had waited until her wedding night to send them to Nabil. A knock on the door. Nabil's voice. Camilla, are you okay? She deleted the email notification, splashed cold water on her face, opened the door. I'm fine, just nervous. Nabil was sitting on the edge of the bed now. His phone was in his hand. The screen was glowing. He'd seen it. He looked up at her. His face was completely calm, but his eyes were different, colder, harder. I need to ask you something, he said quietly. And I need you to tell me the truth. Camilla's heart stopped. She knew this was it. I need to stop for a second, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking she should have told him from the beginning. Or he's a monster. Or maybe both. And you're right. About all of it. But here's what I need you to understand. Camilla lied because the system gave her no other choice. Tell the truth and starve. lie, and maybe survive. Those were her options. And thousands of women make that same choice every single day. Not because they're deceptive, because they're desperate. If you're still here, if this story is making you angry or sick or heartbroken, then you need to stay. Because what happens in the next few minutes is the reason these stories need to be told. Subscribe. Not because I'm asking nicely, because if you don't, stories like Camila's disappear. And the men who kill women like her? Nabil held up his phone, turned the screen toward Camila. The email, the subject line. You should know who you married. The link. I received this during our wedding, he said. His voice was eerily calm. I didn't check my email until now. I thought maybe it was spam. Pause. He was watching her face. But something told me to look. So I clicked the link. The silence in that room was enormous. Camila couldn't breathe. It's a Facebook album, Nabil continued. Dated 2017, photos of you and a man named Miguel Santos. At a beach resort, embracing, kissing, clearly intimate. Camila's heartbeat was so loud, it drowned out everything else. Nabil stood up, started pacing. When my mother asked if you'd been with anyone before, you looked her in the eye and said no. When I asked you, on the night I proposed, if there was anything I should know, you said no. He stopped pacing, turned to look at her. You lied to my mother. You lied to me. On our wedding day. Nabil, please, let me explain. Who is Miguel Santos? He was my boyfriend in university. Years ago. Before I ever met you. Were you intimate with him? The question hung in the air like a blade. Yes, she whispered. We were together. But it was before you. It has nothing to do with us, Nabil exploded. You lied to me! He was pacing now, faster, hands clenched into fists. You looked at my mother, and lied to her face. You stood in front of my entire family. You let me marry you, knowing this whole time that you'd been lying from the beginning. I was scared. I knew you'd react like this. React like what? Like a man who deserves honesty? Like someone who warned you that I'd been lied to before and couldn't go through it again? He stopped, stood in front of her. His face was red, veins visible in his neck. Do you understand what this means? Do you have any idea what you've done? I'm sorry. I should have told you. Sorry? He laughed, but it was a terrible sound. My family, my business associates, every single person at that wedding tonight, they all believe I married a pure woman. Someone who respected herself. That's what you represented. That's what I told them. He picked up his phone, held it up. And now I have this email, this link. Do you think whoever sent this is going to keep it to themselves? Do you think this won't get forwarded to my father by morning? Who sent it? Camila's voice was shaking. Miguel told me he deleted everything. I don't care who sent it. Nabil threw the phone. It hit the wall. The screen cracked. The point is that it exists. These photos exist. And I just married you. I just stood in the most expensive hotel in Dubai and married you in front of everyone who matters. And tomorrow, when this gets out, I will be the fool, the idiot who got deceived. He walked to the window, stared out at Dubai's glittering skyline. Do you know what that does to me? To my family's name? To my business? Everything I've built depends on respect, on people believing I'm a man of honor. And you just destroyed that. He turned back to her. Something in his face had changed. I loved you, he said quietly. I actually loved you. Camilla was crying now. I loved you too. I do love you. That part wasn't fake. Everything was fake. He looked at her with disgust. You saw a wealthy man who could save your family, and you became whatever you needed to be to get him. That's not fair, isn't it? He took a step toward her. Tell me the truth, Camilla. If I wasn't wealthy, if I couldn't pay for your father's therapy and your mother's insulin, would you have even responded to my message? Silence, because they both knew the answer. I thought so. Nabil walked back to the window, put his hands on the glass. My grandfather used to tell me a man's honor is his currency. Lose that, you lose everything. Your name, your respect, your place in the community. He turned around. You cost me my honor. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to survive. But you did. Whether you meant to or not, you did. And now I have to decide what to do about it. That's when Camilla saw where his eyes had gone. To the wall. To the ceremonial khanjar. The curved dagger with the jeweled handle. Nabil, please, we can fix this. We can talk to your family together in the morning. Explain what? He was walking toward the wall now. That you lied? That I was too stupid to see through it? He stood in front of the dagger, stared at it. In my grandfather's time, if a man's honor was violated, he defended it with his own hands. Nabil, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. Do you understand what you've done? Not just to me, to your own family. Your mother is here, right now, in Dubai, on a visa I sponsored. If this marriage ends in scandal, if I divorce you tomorrow and send you back to Manila in shame, what do you think happens to them? That's when Camilla understood. He had them all trapped here, all dependent on his goodwill. Please, she whispered, don't hurt them. This is between us. No. He lifted the khanjar from the wall. The blade caught the light. This is bigger than us. This is about what happens when someone treats honor like it's something you can negotiate. Camilla saw the blade in his hand, and her body made the decision before her mind could catch up. She ran, straight for the door, grabbed the handle, pulled, locked. The electronic lock had engaged automatically. She fumbled with the deadbolt. Her hands were shaking so badly she couldn't grip it. Nabil crossed the room faster than she expected. His hand closed around her wrist, yanked her back from the door so hard she stumbled. Where are you going to go, Camilla? This is my country, my hotel, my city. You have no passport? It's in my villa. You have no visa without me, no money. No friends here except the ones I introduced you to. You're not leaving until we resolve this. He pulled her away from the door, back into the center of the room. Camilla fought him. She clawed at his face with her free hand. Drew blood. 3 lines down his cheek. She screamed for help as loud as she could. But the suite was soundproofed, designed for privacy. No one heard her scream. Nabil's face changed. The careful mask he'd worn for months was completely gone. What was left was rage and shame and absolute certainty that his honor mattered more than her life. I'm sorry, he said, and there were actual tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry. But I can't let you destroy everything I am. The khanjar rose. Camilla saw it coming, tried to block it with her arm. The first cut was to her shoulder. The blade went through the silk and into her skin. Pain exploded through her body. She stumbled backward, fell, hit the marble floor hard. Rose petals scattered around her. Please, she gasped. Blood was already soaking through her dress. Nabil, Please, think about my mother. She's here. She's waiting for me to call her tomorrow. Please. But he wasn't seeing her anymore. He was seeing his father's face when the email got forwarded. He was seeing his business partners laughing behind his back. He was seeing every person at that wedding looking at him with pity or contempt. The second cut was to her chest. More blood. More pain. The white dress was red now. Everything was red. Camila's hand went to her neck, found the Santo Niño medal, the one her mother had worn for 40 years, the one that was supposed to keep her safe. She could hear her mother's voice. This will protect you. But it didn't. Her last thought wasn't complicated. It was simple and sad and true. This isn't fair. I just wanted to survive. The third cut. Her hand went limp. The metal fell from her fingers, hit the marble floor with a small sound. Rolled. Stopped. Silence. Nabil stood over her body, breathing hard, the khanjar still in his hand, blood dripping from the blade. He looked at what he'd done. Then something strange happened. His face smoothed out. The rage drained away. He became calm again, eerily calm. He walked to the bathroom, turned on the tap, washed the blood from his hands, watched it swirl down the drain. He took a white towel, wiped the blade clean, walked back into the bedroom, placed the dagger carefully on the bed. Then he walked to the cream-colored sofa, sat down. His white kandura was soaked red, but he didn't seem to notice or care. He pulled a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, lit one, took a drag, exhaled slowly. The clock on the wall showed 3:32 in the morning. At 3:47, Nabil stood up, walked to the hotel phone, picked it up, dialed 0. His voice when he spoke was calm, almost casual. I need help. Something terrible has happened. 3:50 a.m. Hotel security burst through the door and found Nabil al-Mansouri sitting calmly on a cream-colored sofa, white kandura soaked red. Behind him, Camila's body on the marble floor surrounded by rose petals. By 4:15, Dubai police had arrived and sealed the crime scene. Officers moving through the suite with cameras and evidence bags. Nabil was arrested without resistance. His only statement: she lied to me about her past. I had no choice. At 5:30 in the morning, Elena Reyes received a phone call. Dubai police. Your daughter. An incident. You need to come to the hospital. She collapsed before she made it to the door. Her husband, Roberto, couldn't help her. He was in his wheelchair, unable to move or speak. Hotel staff found them 20 minutes later. Elena was rushed to Rashid Hospital where doctors determined she'd suffered a stroke. By 6 a.m., a forensic team was processing the suite. Blood spatter patterns consistent with an attack. Defensive wounds on Camila's hands, proving she'd fought to live. The ceremonial khanjar on the bed, wiped clean but still damp. The cracked phone with the email still open. And the Santo Niño medal on the marble floor, still clutched in Camila's hand when she died. But investigators weren't just focused on the crime scene. They were focused on that email. The account was Truth About Your Wife at protonmail.com, created on March 27th, 2020, the same day as the wedding, sent through a VPN that bounced through Romania, the Netherlands, and Singapore. Every digital trail led to a dead end. But then, Dubai police got a warrant for cellular records from the Burj Al Arab. And they found something. At 11:34 p.m. on March 27th, a phone belonging to Khalid al-Mansouri had connected to NordVPN, exactly 13 minutes before the email was sent to Nabil. A timeline formed. 11:34, Khalid connects to the VPN. 11:47, the email is sent. 12:43 a.m., Nabil opens it. 3:47 a.m. Camila is dead. Detective Hassan Al-Kuwari brought Khalid in for questioning. Hassan was a 30-year veteran of Dubai police. This case had gotten under his skin. A 24-year-old woman murdered on her wedding night because someone had sent her husband photos from her past. Khalid arrived with a lawyer, expensive suit, calm demeanor. Your phone connected to a VPN service 13 minutes before that email was sent, Hassan said. Khalid smiled. I use VPNs frequently, for work, for privacy. At 11:34 at night? During your cousin's wedding reception? I stepped outside to make a business call. I wanted privacy. Did you send that email to your cousin? I have no idea what you're talking about. Hassan leaned forward. Your cousin murdered his wife because of that email. If you sent it, you're an accomplice to murder. Khalid's lawyer spoke up. Unless you have evidence my client authored that specific email, this is harassment. My client has diplomatic connections. I suggest you tread very carefully, detective. Within 48 hours, Khalid was on a plane to London. His family's connections ensured no extradition request was ever filed. The investigation was quietly closed. The official record? Sender unknown. Hassan believed until the day he retired that Khalid had sent that email. That he'd found Miguel's Facebook photos through data broker services and sent them to Nabil as a purity test, to expose her before she could contaminate the family. But he could never prove it. And even if he could, Khalid al-Mansouri was protected by wealth and a system designed to shield men exactly like him. Nabil had pulled the trigger, but Khalid had loaded the gun, and he would never face justice for it. The trial began in June 2020. International media attention, Filipino workers' rights groups protesting outside. The prosecution was led by Aisha Al-Fahim. She stood before the court and laid out a straightforward case. This was premeditated murder. The defendant had a weapon. He had time to think. He had options. He could have walked away. Instead, he chose violence. The evidence was overwhelming. Crime scene photos, Nabil's confession, defensive wounds on Camilla's hands. The defense argued extreme emotional distress, cultural context, honor provocation. They painted Nabil as a victim of deception. But the most powerful moment came when Elena Reyes testified. She was brought into the courtroom in a wheelchair. The stroke had left her partially paralyzed. Her speech was slurred but understandable. She had a boyfriend in university. His name was Miguel. That's normal. In Manila, that's normal. She wasn't ashamed of it until she met a man who made her ashamed. She lied because she knew he would judge her. And she was right. He killed her for it. Elena looked directly at Nabil. He wouldn't meet her eyes. My daughter is dead because she had the audacity to have lived before she met him. Because she was human. The verdict came down on a Friday afternoon. Guilty of premeditated murder. But the judge acknowledged mitigating factors: emotional distress, cultural context, provocation. The sentence, 20 years in prison, eligible for parole in 15. The courtroom erupted. Filipino observers shouted in protest. Elena wept in her wheelchair. Prosecutor Aisha Al-Fahim stood and addressed the court one final time. 20 years. That's what this court has decided a woman's life is worth. 20 years for a premeditated murder, because the victim had the audacity to have a past. Elena returned to Manila 2 months later. She sold the engagement ring Nabil had given Camilla. 3 carats. Flawless. She took the money and paid off every peso of the medical debt that had started this entire nightmare. But it didn't bring her daughter back. The Philippine government launched an investigation into marriage agencies. New regulations were implemented. Background checks, mandatory counseling, waiting periods. All of it too late for Camilla, but maybe enough to protect the next young woman. Dubai implemented its own reforms, stronger sentencing guidelines for domestic violence. But cultural change moves slower than legal change. 3 Filipina women, Rowena, Paulina, and Teresa, started a support network for foreign wives in the UAE. Legal resources, emergency contacts, safe houses. They named it Camilla's Network. Nabil is currently serving his sentence in Dubai Central Prison. In a prison interview conducted in 2023, he showed no remorse. "I loved her. I would have given her everything. But she lied about the most important thing. If she told me the truth from the beginning, we could have addressed it." No acknowledgement that his standards had made the truth impossible. No recognition that his honor had cost a woman her life. He'll be eligible for parole in 2035. He'll be 57 years old. Camilla will still be dead. Khalid lives in London now, working in finance, living well, never charged, and he's never lost a night's sleep over it. In Manila, in a small cemetery in Quezon City, Elena visits her daughter's grave every week. She brings flowers. She brings the Santo Niño medal that couldn't protect Camila. She sits in her wheelchair and talks to her daughter like she's still listening. Other graves surround hers, other Filipinas who died far from home, other mothers who sent their daughters away hoping for better and got back bodies instead. Elena still calls Camilla's phone sometimes, just to hear her voice on the voicemail. "Hi, this is Camila. Leave a message and I'll call you back." A promise that will never be kept. Her name was Camila Reyes. She was 24 years old. She worked night shifts at a call center. She sent money home to her family. She had dreams of opening a small hotel someday. She had a past that was normal and human and hers. And she was killed for it. Say her name, remember it. Because women like her deserve more than to be forgotten. If you believe these stories matter, if you believe Camilla's life mattered, then hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment with her name. Share this video. Because silence protects the Nabils of the world. And women like Camila don't have anyone else speaking for them. Her name was Camila. And she deserved better than this.